Hey guys, it's me Unique, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I achieved this full glam pretty pink cut crease look. Before getting started, I sanitized my hands so I can prevent any bacteria from getting on my client's face and so that I can stay clean. This is the before after I prepped and cleaned my client's face. For her brows, I used the soap bra technique and I'm going in with a spoolie, pushing them up and then setting them in place. Here is me in the background, just being myself as usual. After her brows are prepped in place, I'm just underlining them with some concealer. For brows, I love to take my time and make them nice and precise. This clip is so satisfying, honestly. Doing brows has to be my favourite part of the process. When I tell you guys, trust the process, I mean it. Look at that eyebrow. And then here are the two together, look how symmetrical they are. Quick PSA, all the products that I used will be in the description below. So after applying some concealer to her eyelids, I'm just blending it out using a damp beauty blender. I'm taking an eyeshadow brush and just buffing and blending that product into her eyelid so that I can have a smooth, nice base for the eyeshadow. I did have to be quite careful as my client did have eyelash extensions on, but after doing some research I knew what to go and do. So here I'm just adding some more concealer and buffing that product in, and this is the look that she wanted me to recreate on her. Absolutely love when clients see my work and are like, you know what, I want this to look on me. It's such a nice feeling. Now for the eye tutorial, I'm going to be starting in with a transition shade and just building that up in her crease. To intensify this blend, I'm just taking a medium brown shade and I'm running that through her crease. This is to ensure that when I actually cut the crease, there is a gradient and that it looks smooth and seamless. Whilst blending this shade, I made sure to take it above her crease so that when I actually cut the crease, you can see it when she opens up her eyes. To get that cut crease effect, I got my client to open her eye and then close it again. This way I could see where her eye naturally creases. From this, I took the concealer brush that I was using and mapped out a small circular shape from her inner corner all the way to where her eyebrow arches. I'm doing two things here. Not only am I following her natural eye crease, but I'm also taking that concealer slightly higher so when she opens her eye it can be seen. For this step specifically, I'm making sure that I move slow and don't rush this as I don't want the cut crease to be too high. Now that I've finally cut the crease, I'm just taking some of that concealer which is left on the brush and just placing that on her eyelid. As I'm not doing a full cut crease, this is the reason why I did stop at her brow arch. And this is the result, look how clean they are. Next I'm going back in with that medium brown shade and I'm just adding that to the end of where the crease finishes, which is the outer corner of her eye, and then I'm just blending that in a little bit. Once I placed the eyeshadow at the outer corner of her eye, I made sure to blend it in with a smaller, denser brush. To add that glam effect, I'm just taking a pink shimmery eyeshadow and placing that on the eyelid. I'm making sure not to place it near the inner corner of the eye as I'm going to be adding some pink. My client ordered some pink in her inner corner, so I'm just adding that in there a little bit to intensify it. I'm adding some more. And then I'm going to be softly blending that in to the pink shimmery shade to create a kind of gradient effect. When placing the pink shimmery shade, I'm making sure not to add too much as I don't want the fallout to end up in her eyelashes and I don't want it to look kind of grainy and caked up on there. I think the two pinks are such a nice and pretty combo and my client loved it.
God, it looks so good!
Here I'm just adding the pink to the inner corner on the other eye. I think it just pulls the whole look together and it really just makes it just look lovely. After adding that intensifying pink, I'm going back in with the medium brown shade, just intensifying the whole blend and pulling it together.
Like it? I love it so much. It's gonna look so sick. I see what you did. It looks like so...
Yeah,
oh my God, so good.
After completing this part of the look, I'm just taking a cotton pad with some micellar water and wiping away the fallout from underneath her eye. Look at that eye look. Then I'm taking a spoolie and just removing some of the fallout from her lash extensions. To line her waterline, I'm just taking some of that same concealer, placing that in her waterline very carefully as I don't want to damage her eyes. Then I'm going to be adding some pink eyeshadow on the top. When adding the pink eyeshadow to her waterline, I'm moving very slowly once again and taking my time so the pigment doesn't get in her eye and make them feel uncomfortable. As you guys can see, there is a lot of pink underneath her eye, so to fix that, I wiped that away with some micellar water on a cotton pad, and now I'm going in and prepping her face with a water-based cream. After this, I'm going to be adding some foundation to her face in some sections, so it's easier for me to blend out and keep control of. My client mentioned to me that she did want medium coverage. I'm making sure to get in all the nooks and crannies, making sure that no area is untouched. After using a brush to buff and blend in that product, I'm then going in with a beauty blender, which is damp, to make sure that her skin does look like skin and to give a more flawless and less caked blend. I love using a beauty blender on clients and on myself just to get a more flawless blend. After this, I'm adding a deeper shade to her cheeks, nose, forehead and her jawline. I'm just buffing that in with a brush. This is to add some warmth back into her face. Blending in this shade, I'm taking my time once again and making sure that really does get into her skin. I don't want there to be any harsh edges. So I started off by doing her cheeks, underneath her jawline, her forehead, and then finally her nose. I'm using a fluffy little eyeshadow blending brush. After using those brush on those mentioned areas, I'm then going to be going in with a beauty blender to just tap that back into her skin and to make sure the blend is smooth. After bronzing, it's time to brighten up her face, so I'm taking the concealer and adding it to underneath her eyes, her nose, in the middle of her forehead, her jawline, her upper lip and her chin. Adding a small amount of concealer in those areas I just mentioned, so that these areas can look minimal and not too caked up, and this is what her face looks like. And then I'm going to be blending that in. I'm blending out the concealer using a small fast tapping motion. After completing these areas, I'm going to be adding just a little bit more concealer underneath her under eyes to add more coverage and to just make the area brighter. Blending the concealer into her under eyes, I asked her to look up so that when I set it with powder, that there's no creasing. I absolutely love a flawless under eye. Trust me, this technique works.
God, my nose looks so snatched. Yes, I got a nose job.
Now I'm going in with a beauty blender again over those concealed areas to make sure that there's no harsh lines and so that it's all smooth. After this, I'm going to be baking her face just a little bit. I'm using very little powder as I don't want it to be caked up. If there's too much powder on a beauty blender when you're about to bake or even set your face, to remove that powder off of the beauty blender, just pat it on the back of your hand. After I just set underneath her under eyes, I'm setting her upper lip, her chin, her forehead, her nose and her jawline. After baking, not only am I swiping away just a little bit of that powder, but I'm also tapping it back into her face. Especially underneath her eyes, I'm not trying to actually remove the powder, I'm just dusting it off a little bit, and look at all that powder on my hand. Honestly, this technique does work.
I'm with my makeup artist, but
She called me her makeup artist, that's so cute. Anyways, moving on swiftly, I am just bronzing up her face using some eyeshadow on a powder brush. I think that using eyeshadow is much better than using bronzer, as sometimes bronzer can actually be too harsh. I'm bronzing her cheeks, forehead, nose and her jawline, which are the areas where I place the darker concealer. Time for blusher. I'm just putting it on the apples of her cheeks. After blush, it's highlight, so I'm highlighting her cheekbones, forehead, nose, and her cupid's bow. After this, I went and set her face with some setting spray.
Thought you were quicker this time.
When setting her face, I did set it from a distance. The goal is to set the face, not soak it. After this, I went and dried it with the palette and my hands. I went in with a beauty blender to just touch up on those areas. Finishing touches, I'm just adding some mascara to her lower lash line. Then I'm going in with some eyeliner to go and do some little fake freckles and to do those moles that she likes. After doing her freckles, I did set her face again. And then I went and done her lips. To do them, I actually lined them, then I slightly overlined them as that's what she likes. Then I went and added some lipstick, and then to top that off, some clear lip gloss. And after doing that, here is the finished look. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!